obviously Trump has been indicted, and there's a lot of talk about what that's going to do to his presidential aspirations. I thought it would just put it to bed, because even though, like, if he's not, behind bars, I don't personally think he'll be jailed as a result of this. I think it's more likely he'll be, fined and a slap on the wrist. It might set a precedent in terms of some of the other charges that he's facing, and life could get more complicated for him. But in terms of this actual case, I think it would put his presidential aspirations to bed, purely on the basis that it's going to be really fucking difficult for him to continue to fly back to New York to do this, to appear at this court date, like, to fight that case and to go for the presidency seems a bit of a stretch.
I mean, I think I wish I agreed with you. I think the problem is, I think it's kind of just turbocharging it at the moment. And I mean, I was reading about it today, and apparently the next court date where they have to, or the date where they have to get the motions in for the court is August. And then the next actual court date is December. So it's like, it's like months and months. The legal system moves so slowly in these situations. And his whole thing over years and years and years of business is delay, attack, delay, try to kind of attack the integrity of the people involved, and delay, and never actually get into a courtroom, because that's where bad things can happen. And I just think we're in this weird world now where whatever happens to him, his supporters will love it. And, he has no, there are no guardrails with him. Maybe if there ever were, there certainly aren't anymore. And he's happy to say things that are outrageous. And unfortunately, so, and his supporters are, the Marjorie Taylor Greens of this world are able to say the most ludicrous things on TV, and people just sort of go, oh, can't believe you said that. It's like, yeah, but yes, you can. You should believe it, because they've been saying it for years.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think this court case will probably help him in the primary, but I don't think, just because of that, because the Republican Party is phenomenally spineless when it comes to Trump. Like, they have had so many opportunities to just drop him, to get rid of him. January the 6th is the obvious one. They could have if they just impeached him, and that would have been it. Like, he would have been gone. He, obviously he's not literally got, he would have still been around as a figure, but if they'd impeached him and said you cannot run for president again, they would have cleansed him from their party. And they'd have had they'd have had people saying, how dare you do that and stuff. But actually, I think fairly quickly it would have kind of been like, okay, well, what next? Who next? What's the next thing? Maybe DeSantis would have come into the picture or whatever. But it just feels like they just won't, because they're scared of him, and they're scared of his supporters, and they don't want to get attacked on Twitter. They don't want the supporters to turn up at their houses and boo. And I get it. I understand why they don't want that. But
you're
their
right,
party,
it's so sort of cowardly. It's so like, is there not one Republican senator or congressman or somebody with a bit of gravitas and gusto who can actually just stand up and say, this is utterly fucking... I mean, I know, look, there's been some, Mitt Romney, Liz Cheney, and they have paid the political price for doing that. But it just seems like they are absolutely the exception to the rule. And the rest of them are very, very happy to just carry on riding on that Trump train, even when it seems like that Trump train is... The stat I heard this morning is he's commanding like 30% support from the wider Republican Party, which is reasonable, but I don't think it's like he needs more than that to become president. So the idea that they should... I don't
think he can win. Yeah, I don't... Well, famous last words, but I just don't think he can win the general election in a situation where he's under indictment and, is going as crazy as he is. Like, he can definitely win the primary, but I just don't think a general election is likely to because he didn't win 2020, despite what he says, and he didn't win in 2022. All of the Trump candidates did quite badly. The MAGA candidates generally did quite badly in America in the midterms, and it shows, I think, that the general voter just isn't on his side. The Republicans have the same problem that we've been talking about, of they're in their echo chamber. They're in Fox News. They think that Fox News is the world, is the country. And they see all these people turning up at his rallies and going, you're amazing. And they think, oh, wow, he's got this incredible. But he's not. He doesn't have the amount of support that he used to. And he certainly doesn't have the support from the sort of the general independent voter, I think.